G'day YouTube, it's Turbo Tristan here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start a new project, bit of a resto mod, bit of a retro mod. We're going back to the future to this 1988 EF Civic hatch, and we're going to bring it up to EFI to the late 90s, early 2000s. It's the start of another project, yes, another one, and yes, it's a Honda. I do promise after this one we'll be going on to some other cars, so make sure you subscribe for those. VL Turbo, RB30, big power, and a K-swapped MR2. But first, we've got to do a Vtec swap on this EF Civic. Now behind me is this beautiful, perfect little specimen. It's 100% stock standard, except for the wheels. It even has all of the original sound system and decals and everything from when it was brand new. It even has this really cool, cute G.I. Joe looking Honda badge there. Interior, 100% stock, 186,000 kilometers on it. Stock radio, all totally stock interior. So let's just take a second to appreciate this classic beauty. Now the story behind the car behind me is it was actually first owned by a mechanic, and then the second owner was a car detailer. And then the third owner, now hopefully this is going to be its forever owner, is a Honda enthusiast and just wants to keep it OEM spec, but we're going to give it a bit of a modern twist and bring it up to the future, but keep all of its original beauty and pedigree and everything, keep it all just really nice. This is the original engine from 1988, I believe. Yes, 11th month 1988. It's a dual carb 1.6, might even be a 1.5. Nope, it's a 1.5 dual carb D15B. You can hear it now, it's sort of struggling with idling. Goes up and down, there it goes. Almost wants to die. We're going to give it a new lease on life and install a D16Y8 out of an EJ8 Civic. And yes, that's the one with Vtec. So it's going to increase the power of this one, drivability, fuel economy, all that sort of stuff, but keeping it all OE themed and just a really nice drivable car. So this one doesn't have aircon, but it does have power steering, so we're going to keep that. We're also going to have to change from a cable clutch to a hydraulic, so I've got all the parts for that. Everything else is pretty well sweet. Just a matter of removing all of the carby setup and putting in the EFI setup. The owner did want to drop the suspension just a little bit, so we're going to do that. You can see all this splutter out of the back of the car. That hasn't even been revved up, that's just what happens. So I think that engine is on its last legs. Probably just some dry stem seals, stuff like that, but definitely needing some love. 186,000 kilometers on it. We're going to stick in 150,000 kilometer, much newer out of a 98. So it's getting a 10-year upgrade and going from 88 to 98 with an EJ8 engine. I'm just going to put the camera down now and give it a little bit of a rev so we can hear it. And you'll probably see a bit of soot come out the back. I literally just hosed that driveway. Now I've got it made a mess again. But that's one of the reasons why we're changing it. Pretty breathless. And it's on its way out anyway. So let's get it all up on the hoist, see what parts we've got, see what we're working with, and we will begin tearing down this beautiful car. There is the option of putting the four-wheel discs out of a later model Civic as well in there. So I'm just going to see what's involved in changing that over. We do have a rear disc conversion kit just here on the floor. So once we get the car up in the air, get all the wheels off, have a look under the suspension and what we're working with, and we'll see what the differences are and what kind of things we're going to need to change. I've got her up in the air now, and I've got to say, at first glance, first inspection, things are looking like they're pretty close. Maybe not complete bolt-on, but so close that I think we can make all of this work. Now, the rear suspension, this lower control arm is obviously quite different design, different length, all that sort of stuff. The fuel tank, so although this one enters over here and the EK enters at the back, I think we can make that work as well. Hopefully it does, with all the fuel going in and out of the car. Hopefully it doesn't run backwards up the filler, but should be good there. This exhaust is all original and probably is full of oil and rust, judging by what was spitting out of the back of the car. With the rear disc brake conversion though, everything else is looking pretty darn good. We've got this and this, and this is all the same. This looks the same. Where it bolts onto the bottom looks pretty much the same, and so does the arms at the top, all looks pretty much the same. So that bit should not be a problem. I've got them over here, so for comparison, I'll need to upgrade these bushes. We might opt for some different upper control arms as well. I'll talk to the owner and we'll try to get some brand new brake rotors on there, brand new brake pads, because we don't want to put old crusty stuff in there. And he's also got a set of hard race lower control arms for this, which hopefully are for this, and they do fit, and they do fit exactly like this, and we can just put those on, those arms, and it'll all work. Moving up to the front of the car, we've got some hard race front lower control arms. Everything else here is looking pretty good. There doesn't appear to be any power steering leaks or anything, although there's quite a few leaks on the good old engine, Old Faithful. We've got some traction bars here. It's all looking pretty good. I'm gonna have to take off all of these under trays. The only difference I can see is this mount here at the front. The EJ8's D16Y8 doesn't have that, but this all looks the same. All looks like it's all gonna bolt up here. Even the gear lever rods, they all look pretty similar as well, so we'll probably just swap those over. I do have the EJ8 ones of those. This car has a front sway bar, so it was miles ahead of the EK that we started with just before. I think everything else is looking pretty good. Really nice set of wheels. Hopefully the axle splines all match up. I guess the next thing for me to do would be to start taking off the bumpers, taking off the wheels, taking off the control arms, all that sort of stuff, and getting it all pulled apart, drop the fuel tank, drop the oil, coolant, all that sort of stuff. But I still need to finish off that one out there, get that cut and buffed so we can take it to the racetrack next week. But this is the project. The engine is over there with my pile of engines behind my filming lighting. I've got the fuel tank, all looks pretty similar, and I've got the lower control arms. I've got the hydraulic clutch master and a braided line for that, so we can move that to where we need it. Most of the mechanical bolt-on, bolt-off stuff I should be pretty well right with. I would like to see the owner get all those new parts that I just mentioned. Hopefully the handbrake cables look like they all match up, so that's good. So I should be able to use those as well. Otherwise, everything's looking good. Sorry for that little intermission, but this is where I'm going to need your guys' help. You will understand more about swapping engines than I do, especially in the EF chassis. This will be the second one I've ever worked on. The first one was a B16A swapped CRX that my cousin used to own and wishes he still did, but apparently that turned up all totally trashed, rusted out somewhere. The next owner didn't look after it quite as well as he did. So that's the only other experience I've had. So I've done Gen 1, haven't done Gen 2 or Gen 3, Gen 4, and we've done the EG and the EK chassis. So I'm learning them all. I'm gonna soon be an expert one day, but nowhere near an expert just yet. But we're gonna roll the guards, get all of this ready for a bit more performance. EFI, Vtec, some coilovers are going in the car. It's gonna be absolutely mint. The only thing that I'm not quite sure about is the wiring. We have the full entire EJ8 wiring loom, the ECU, I've got the immobilizer key and all that sort of stuff. I've got no clue, besides plugging in the wiring loom and giving that power and getting that running. Connecting up the ECU, I should be good with that sort of stuff. But overriding the immobilizer, making sure it fires, wiring up the fuel pump. I don't know which wires I can either tap into or run wires from there to wherever I need them to. So if anyone local in Melbourne is a bit of an expert on that sort of stuff, hit me up, reach out. We can do some workshop nights together, bit of a collaboration. And yeah, I just really love someone's help, input. And yeah, I'm always looking for more people to help out, be part of the channel. And yeah, do some work in the garage. It's more fun when there's more people hanging out and getting together building cars. So if anyone's keen, hit me up, drop me a comment below, and we're gonna get started on ripping this baby apart. The first thing that I love to do whenever I get a new car in or a new project or whatever is give it a good clean top to bottom. Now, as you saw before, the top and the inside of this car was immaculately perfect, but I chucked it up on the hoist and gave it a full detail underneath with the pressure washer. And as you can see on the floor, this is all the soot and smut that came out. That's just under the front end. And then we've got everything here under the back. I thought I'd better give it a good scrub down first with the pressure washer so that all of this stuff doesn't fall into my eyes and face. And I'm so glad I did, because now we've got a much cleaner canvas to work on. I've cleaned off, I put some special cleaner chemical on there to clean all the soot and smut off those, so they're all good to go again, brand new. So I can't wait to get all of those back inside and up under the car. I just want to pick everybody's brain just for a moment. These are the hard race arms that I've taken out of the box. Now these are amazing quality, I've got to say, but they look absolutely nothing like the ones that are in here. They look like they're about the same length, but there's a totally different setup there. So I think these will work if I just use the bottom lower fork off an EG, EK in the back, because they look like they're the exact right length. Just that section there is the bit that's throwing me. So hopefully I get the right bottom parts for the coilovers and then they'll work, because everything else looks awesome and these look awesome. Let me know your thoughts, help a brother out. I've got no clue. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to spool up, bring the boost, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.